that sort of double captaincy in Scotland with Rory, Darge and Finn Russell, your old pal Russell. Which way do you see that going?
It's just an interesting combination, is it? Rory Darge, when he came on the scene, it was actually, if I'm right, it was the game that where everyone was very critical of Finn Russell against France, where he kicked upfield, chased, and didn't sprint back and get into the defensive line. And that man Dupont had run back and scored a try, but Darge had made the tackle, got up, run back and made another tackle. So people were directly comparing the effort of Russell in defence to Rory Darge. As soon as that guy came on, I said, this guy is, he's your classic open side flanker. He's a workaholic. I don't think he's overly talented, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just really admire the passion, the desire, the effort he puts into the games. Those sort of guys, and Quinny's played with them, they're trainaholics. They come to train. Quinny mentioned culture. Culture, the best definition of culture is the way we do things around here. Families have cultures, country have cultures, businesses have cultures, team have cultures. And like the Wallabies, we can talk about them later on, their culture is really in trouble. Now, if you've got someone like Rory Darge that is a workaholic, I bet he's lifting in the gym like a lunatic. He's doing everything he can. He's the first in the ice baths. He's setting the standards. And that's exactly what Scotland need. There's a couple of videos came out of the week of that Netflix program. Now, I don't watch it, but people keep sending me things. I keep saying, I don't watch this rubbish. They're all just doing it for the cameras. But seeing Finn Russell at training with his hands in his pockets, doing his warm-up, I wanted to give him a good slap.
What would you have done, Matt? What would you have done if you had been standing there?
Very good point. As a young coach, he would have got the double gauge shotgun right in the ear. But I just see him as just underplaying his talent. The guy's talent is extraordinary. He is a fantastic player. We saw in the third test against for the Lions against South Africa a couple of years ago what the man is capable of. But you can't bring out all your talent if you don't train hard. No one wants to train hard. No one wants to go and do all the hard yards, the dirty stuff. But you just got to do it. Now, for him to bring that talent out, he needs to train it. He's not going to do it now. It's too old. He's too late in his career. You're not going to change it. But he's the sort of guy who is going to be a legend in the game. But we will never know how good his talent could be because he didn't push himself hard enough. Where Rory Darge and these guys will know exactly. They'll get every drop of juice out of that lemon they've got of talent. They'll squeeze it till there's nothing left. And that's what Sexton did. That's what Owen Farrell did. That's what Dupont is doing. And that's what O'Driscoll did. That's what Paul O'Connell did. They're the sort of guys that become great because they set the standards and drive themselves. And I think Rory Darge is put there with Finn Russell because Finn Russell, there's no doubting his genius of reading a game and playing, but setting standards is not going to be what he is going to be great at. And I think Darge is there to set the standards. I think it's a very interesting opportunity for Scotland to get a very, very rare win in Cardiff.
Alan, do you agree there with Matt? He rates Finn Russell, but he's saying he's still not going to ever reach his potential. But to not be a sort of team leader and a culture, he's been given the captaincy role by Gregor Townsend, so he must be doing something right.
He must have changed his tune a little bit because we've seen a few spats with Gregor Townsend himself in the last few years and a few disciplinary issues out when they shouldn't have been out. Stuart Hogg was involved in one as well. So look, it's I think he's back in Bath now, and he's probably gets a bit home a bit more. And
he's had a great 6 months with Bath.
Yeah, he's been really good for him, and I don't know because every personality is different, and if you try and completely change Finn Russell completely, maybe you'll lose a little bit of that kind of free spirit in him. I do agree. Being in the gym and being in fitness sessions and all that kind of stuff when you're doing the pre-seasons, it used to infuriate me and probably other players I played with if somebody wasn't pulling their weight. And I obviously often got clipped myself for, I wouldn't say not trying hard, but, being a little bit blasé or switched off or something. And you get to a point in your career that you realise that every 40-minute weight session or fitness session that's money in the bank, and that's getting you better prepared and stuff like that. So Finn Russell is just that laid back person, and one part of me thinks it's amazing and it's lovely and it's a free spirit. Another part would probably infuriate me if I was playing with him. By all accounts, he's very popular. But he's been given that little bit of responsibility again now, hasn't he? And that may be a good thing. That may be a scenario that he's maybe learned from past mistakes. And, you know, when Finn Russell, every time Scotland player, Finn Russell is in a team, whether it's with Racing or Bath, you go, well, if he goes well, they have a great chance of winning because he can do brilliant stuff. And we saw that with the Lions a couple of years ago in South Africa. So he has a special talent, and you would love to kind of for him to become, but then it may not suit him, and it may change the way he plays. You know, we have someone similar in Ireland, don't we? In Simon Zebo, you know, that you'd kind of love to see that, but they're special talents, and you know, they've just got to, you know, try and maximise it. I think Simon Zebo's near the end. He's reminded everyone recently. And they played together in Racing. Finn Russell, yes, there's times where you think there's more in him, and but he's been given responsibility now, and I think Scotland will be dangerous. I think Wales have a lot of kind of issues around players retiring and injuries and all that kind of stuff. So I think Scotland will go to Cardiff and get a result there on Saturday.
Matt, do you agree? Where do you think? Sorry, go ahead.
Could I just throw in with Quinny? I totally agree with what Quinny said. Can I mention Gregor? I think this is really showing a maturity of Gregor as well. Obviously, Finn Russell and Gregor, you know, they've had a lot of public spats, a few beers here and there they shouldn't have, all this sort of stuff. And that is Gregor Townsend repairing the relationship, seeing the special qualities that Russell has, empowering him to play, and Rory Darge is there adding what Russell doesn't have. And I think that's really good coaching. Really, really good coaching from Gregor. And I agree totally with what he said. I do think Scotland can win on Saturday, win at Cardiff, I think Russell will play superbly with that little bit of responsibility and belief his coach has given him.